Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Monday weather-weenies. It's Ryan Breton and Christian Bridges with you.
It's great to be back here. Second episode of weather-weenies with you, Ryan. It's
good
nice
to have you
be here on this Monday.
And it is feeling, and now in some cases even looking like winter.
Yeah, nice to see some of these snow totals up in northern Maine. Their first real big storm of the season.
Yeah, it kept snowing there into Sunday night and even into today, Monday. And we got one total from Mars Hill of 10 inches. And Ashland about 8. There was somebody on my Facebook page who commented with a picture from Ashland. She's like, yeah, we got dumped on up here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
good to see that. And I follow Big Rock Mountain.
Yep.
I don't know if you know them. That's up in Mars Hill. It's a
Yep.
little ski resort up there. And they posted that they have gotten dumped on almost a foot there. So
that's great.
Yeah, good to see for them. And
we might be able to check in, and again, this is as of Monday afternoon on some of our webcams. This one that's coming up will be Sunday River.
Yep, like they're still making snow up there. They definitely got a little bit, at least over the weekend.
And you were there last Wednesday for
I was there for opening day. So I kind of hinted at this last Tuesday in Weather Weenies that I might go up on Wednesday. And yeah, I was up there for opening day. It was so much fun. Great to be back on skis in Maine. Of course, I only had basically half of one trail open.
Yeah.
But, it was a Wednesday. It wasn't super crowded. And the conditions were awesome. It was just so much fun to be back out. And hopefully we'll be skiing on a lot more terrain there soon.
Right.
Especially with the cold nights we've got in the next
Exactly.
week or so. It looks really good for making snow.
This is at the golf course, which is down in the valley, too.
Yep.
So they even that's all natural snow there.
Right. So they've at least gotten a couple inches up there. And yeah, keep it coming. Although they were closed today because of the blustery winds. I'm sure you noticed that if you were out and about today. Yeah, it was windy. My walk to work, I was like, I was getting blown away on the wind tunnel effect in between the buildings in Portland.
Yeah, that's
always will get you.
Always a problem. This is Sugarloaf. This is from Bullwinkle's, and we'll show you the base of Sugarloaf too.
And opening day there is this week on Friday.
Oh,
at the
great.
Loaf, yeah.
Awesome.
Exciting stuff happening.
And you can see I think what's some man-made snow just blowing in the wind and the flags there.
Yeah,
too.
They've done a great job up there of making snow. It looks like they've got, several trails ready to go for later this week and this weekend. So, yeah.
And as we were talking about, the weather is going to be favorable for not losing much of that snow.
Yeah, me and Ryan were just talking actually. So yesterday morning when I was working, it was looking like there was going to be some sort of warm up late this week into the weekend, some sort of rain event, maybe a heavy rain system. Kind of is not looking that way anymore. It looks more scattered showers.
Yeah.
Looks like the warmth doesn't really get all the way to us. So yeah, kind of interesting trends. We kind of noticed this last winter too. The models would kind of threaten it far in advance.
Right.
We ended up staying pretty cold. I wonder if that happens this winter. We'll have to see.
And one interesting thing about going into this winter, ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation, is pretty much at the same state it was a year ago.
Like almost La Nina, kind of leaning towards weak La Nina, but not super strong. And that tends to be pretty good for snowy winters in New England. I've always been told you don't want too strong either way. You don't want a strong El Nino, you don't want a strong La Nina. You want
something in the middle.
Somewhere in the middle, our Goldilocks zone, essentially. Yeah.
So you mentioned the late week thing. We'll show you Friday. This is the European model in the background there, and it's just some showers that don't look that substantial, but there were a couple runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning that popped us like into the 60s this weekend.
Yep.
Doesn't look like that's going to happen now.
Kind of interesting to see the trend too, and it almost looked like the southern piece of energy and the northern piece of energy were going to sort of link up this weekend. Now the model's keeping them very separate from each other. So
yeah, you can see it there, that one offshore, and then the front, they don't really merge.
Yeah, we don't really get the moisture out of it. So, other than some scattered showers, looking pretty quiet, honestly, through the rest of this week.
I also saw something that was interesting. Obviously, the drought monitor is still something that we're chatting about each week. I've had several people comment on Facebook that, well, my yard looks wet. My pond is now filled up or in better shape. The change now is that it's a groundwater drought. It's not really a surface drought.
That's right. Yeah, it seems like we've kind of caught up a little bit with surface level precipitation, especially this time of year where the trees and plants aren't using the water. So yeah, like surface level, things are looking good. I know that stream levels, river levels have come up from, their low point earlier in the fall. But yeah, that groundwater, I'm sure a lot of people still have dry wells.
Still dry wells.
Yep.
And I feel like on Thursday, if somebody does something about this, or next week, when we get the new update too, we're going to have to preface it with, this is different than it was 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Right. And it's so much harder to see a drought this time of year. You know, like earlier, like obviously at the end of the summer, in the fall, the leaves were turning early.
Right.
It was dusty. It was dry. You could really like see the effects of it. Now it's like you can't really see it.
Yeah, and also the sun is at essentially its weakest point between now and in mid-January. You know, so whatever precipitation we do get, it just isn't going to evaporate at the same rate either.
Absolutely.
So all those things kind of coming together. But I feel like, you know, people can be passionate about like their experiences with weather.
Yep.
I had some of that I saw on Facebook. People are like, this is in no way a drought anymore. No,
Yep.
It really is. It's just different. It's not a traditional one.
You know, people think that, you know, like drought is so tricky because it's not like you can just snap your fingers and get out of it.
Right.
Even with a heavy rain event, it's not enough.
Right.
You know, you need consistent moisture for a long period of time to get out of it. So yeah, like it may seem like it, but still there in the background. So hopefully we get enough precipitation before the ground truly freezes.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
agree.
not an issue in the spring.
Right, because then otherwise it'll still be an issue. Ideally, even if we don't, like we get a cold winter, nice big snowpack, which benefits skiers like us, and then it melts out slowly and gradually in the spring.
That's
what we would need.
Slow thaw, right?
Yeah.
So it slowly trickles back into the soil. And you know, speaking of sun angle, I was thinking of this yesterday. I was driving to Scarborough on 295, and of course the sun is just beaming in my face. It's also something to keep in mind this time of year. It's like sun angle season.
Yeah.
I feel like that is something to really think about when you're driving.
At 3 in the afternoon, it's so low in the sky.
It's just like boring right into your eyes. Yeah, it makes it tough to see for sure. Especially with all the deer out this time of year.
Well, and we're going to have more sun the next couple of days,
yes,
which is good too. Tuesday looks brighter. It's not going to be any warmer. We probably only have high temperatures in the lower 40s for most in southern Maine, 30s up north.
Pretty impressive consistency with, you know, low 40s basically. We've been stuck there for a while. Yeah,
and actually, I'll show you the 7-day. It's, again, like very little variation day to day.
I mean, 40 to 45 degrees.
Right.
There you go.
Maybe Friday the coast can pop into the upper 40s, possible, especially east of Portland.
And potentially, you know, if things trend a little farther north of that system, maybe we do bring some 50s back into the picture. But, yeah, I mean, long stretch of 40s for November. Usually there's at least this is a time of year where we usually get some pretty big fluctuations.
Yeah, I got the calendar here too. I just updated it. And to your point,
look at that, almost 2 degrees below normal. Yeah,
since November 8th, we've been about 50 or below, basically.
Quite a departure from last November. On November 6th last year, 79 in Portland on the day after Election Day. I remember that so vividly. And this year, we've barely managed 60 degrees one day this month.
Well, so your point, I remember last November being warm. I didn't remember that specifically, but now that you say it, I do. I remember Halloween we hit 70.
Yes.
I remember that.
That was impressive. I remember I was sitting out at Bellflower Brewing on Fox Street in Portland, and I was sweating in the sun. It was hot on Halloween.
But yeah, this year definitely shaping up to be a little bit different, whereas last year we were in good shape through November if you don't want to settle into winter. But.
Right. But we sure did last year. So I wonder if this year, you know, is winter super front loaded? You know, is it a cold November, December into early January and then kind of milder after that? Or does it keep on going through the rest of the winter?
Yeah. And I feel like the month of November can, especially once you get to like about this time or maybe a week from now, like if you're going to do a winter outlook, these first few weeks of November can be kind of telling.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, I'm optimistic it's going to be a cold winter. Snow is just such a gamble because if it ends up like last winter and the storm track is just too far to our south, we're cold,
Orleans
don't lose
was getting
what falls.
10 inches of snow when we had none on the ground here last winter. That's how far south the storm track was. So
So I have a feeling somewhere in the Northeast it'll be above average snowfall.
Somewhere. At least last year, you know, like the mountains did pretty well. The mountains of Vermont especially, I'm sure they'll do pretty decently. We'll just have to see, can we extend that to coastal New England this year?
Exactly.
It's been a few winters. I mean, the 2020s have not really been kind to snow lovers in the Northeast. So,
and if you remember April 2020, we had a ton of snow, but you weren't here yet, by the way. April, you would come up 2 years later, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 2022.
So April 2020, we had so much snow in the mountains.
Wow.
We couldn't ski on any of it because of COVID.
Because everything shut down in early March for the ski resorts even, right? Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, we'll see how it plays out. This is probably how most episodes with Christian and I will go. It'll diverge into skiing talk and winter snow forecasting talk.
Get used to it for the next few months at least. Yeah.
weather-weenies at newscentermaine.com. If you have any questions, send them our way, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
That's right. See you Tuesday.